Welcome to tonight's 5 on 5. The guest is Dennis Richardson, who recently announced his candidacy for governor. Thank you so much for stopping by, Dennis.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, let's start off reminding our viewers with some of your service here in the state.
Well, I was in the Central Point City Council in like year 2000, 2001, and then finally decided with all the mandates that are coming down from the state to the cities, I'd find out what life's really like up there and what's going on. So I ran for the state legislature in 2002, and I've been representing Southern Oregon as a state legislator ever since.
And what prompted you or made you decide to run for governor?
Well, I've been co-chair of Ways and Means, and I've been in a number of leadership positions, and over the 10 years I've seen what could be done to make things better for Oregon, but it takes power to implement progressive change. And so it's one thing to have a good plan for the future, but without the power to implement it, it's just talk. And so we need a governor who will look to the future and who will make the changes necessary to make our state vibrant again with greater opportunity and greater prosperity.
It's been a while since a Republican has held the office here in Oregon. What makes you think that now's the time for a Republican to step into that position?
Well, I think that people are finally starting to figure out the fact that things are not getting better. I mean, we have had higher unemployment in the state of Oregon than the national average since the first year that John Kitzhaber became governor back in the 1990s. We have schools that are in the bottom tier of the nation, and our nation in reading and science and math are behind like Bulgaria. I mean, it's just amazing how we have been focusing on how much money is sent to education and not focusing on what the outcomes are.
So a lot of these things that you've seen as a state representative over the last few years where you say, I have to do something about this now.
That's right. I mean, I'm going to lose my opportunity to stay in the legislature by running for governor, but I'm all in, and it's important that we have a governor and a majority in the House and Senate. It would be excellent so that we can actually say, what have we learned from the past? Let's quit duplicating unsuccessful third world kind of policies that have not helped us regain our standing in the nation and in the world.
Do you feel like you're going to have support from your fellow state legislatures, that they've kind of maybe encouraged you in this running for governor?
Oh, very much so. I've talked with all the legislators in the House and all the Republicans, and they're all very supportive. We're excited about the opportunity to go forward and make a change that really will mean something for our state rather than being in the minority and just wondering what is going to happen next that hurts our economy, our education system, and our natural resources.
I have a few more questions for you, so stick around. More 5 on 5 right after the break. Welcome back to the 5 on 5. The guest is Dennis Richardson, a candidate for governor. We've been talking about your time in the state legislature. You mentioned right before the break that you had some support from the Republican state legislatures, but I know you've talked about your time there, that you've been able to go across the aisle and get some support. Do you feel like you might get a little bit of that from some people that you've built relationships in the Democratic side of the state legislature?
I really believe I will, because I've had several of the Democrats that have already kind of said to me, you know, if we can be of help to you in our district, let us know. I mean, it's kind of a thin line, but they know me, and they know that I stand for what's good for the state, and it's not Republican versus Democrat. It's what works for Oregon versus what have we found doesn't work. And it's time for a change that will enable us to have better educational system for our kids, to have better budgeting practices, and to have greater job opportunities for our graduates. I mean, we shouldn't be exporting our graduates, our students, you know. We need to be able to create a place for Oregon where people can come and thrive, where innovators do well, where entrepreneurs can grow and small businesses can thrive.
Now, moving forward, one of the biggest hurdles, I imagine, is covering the entire state. Being from Southern Oregon, one of the smaller areas, with Portland being the larger metropolitan, how are you going to be able to overcome that hurdle?
Well, I've retired from my law practice, and I'm all in. And so for the next 15 months, Kathy and I and those that are supporting us will be traveling all over the state. I'll be meeting with people, determining what plans we should have for the future, what works, what doesn't work, what we've learned from the past. I believe every problem that Oregon faces is being successfully solved somewhere. And so we need to learn from other people's experiences and make them Oregon's experiences for good.
And moving forward, if someone has any questions for you, they want to give some suggestions or help out in your campaign, how can they get more information?
Well, we'd love to have you come online to DennisRichardson.com, and that way you can get straight through to us. or you can reach me at my office. I'm half my time is up north and in other parts of the states, and half the time's here. But DennisRichardson.com is the best way to get in touch.
I'm sure you're probably seeing a whole lot of the state that maybe you haven't got a chance to in your time between here and Salem.
Absolutely, and I'll cover all of the counties and see all of the state before we're done. It's about being governor means representing the entire state, not just your party, but the entire state for the future of our state.
All right, Dennis, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
That's it for the 5 on 5. More news right after the break.